all Toastmasters. And if we have any guests, good morning as well. Put it on the table. For me, really is about having the opportunity for self-examination. As many of you know, I have been an Uber driver for over 4 years. During the pandemic, I transitioned to an Uber Eats driver. I was able to work when a lot of people did not have that opportunity. I can remember early on in the pandemic when in Atlanta, when there was a curfew and only certain people could be out on the roads. It was very, there were very few cars on the road, which was great for me. I liked that. But Uber Eats was one of those jobs that was allowed at that time. And so I did a lot of delivering of food, which for me was great. The difference between Uber Eats and just being an Uber driver is that with an Uber driver, you have people. You're taking people from one destination, picking them up from one destination, one place, and taking them to another destination. And you're in the car most of the time, unless I was getting bags out of the trunk, or unless I was going to the restroom, or getting something to eat, I very rarely got out of the car. And I can remember my doctor asking me, because I have some hip problems and pain going down the leg and lower back issues. And they were asking me, well, what kind of work do you do? Do you do a lot of sitting? And I explained to them that I did. And they said, well, you really need to get out of the car more. Are you able to take breaks? You need to do more standing and moving. And at the time I was like, yeah, okay, I know. But then when the pandemic came, I transitioned to Uber Eats, and that's all about getting in and out of the car. And so then I started moving and started feeling better, wasn't feeling as much pain. That seemed to help. So they were right about that. And I did Uber Eats for throughout the pandemic up until maybe about 10 weeks ago. So during that pandemic, I am thinking, I really don't want to do Ubering at all anymore. I'm not really enjoying it. I think I've gotten the most out of it that I can. I don't really want to do a 9 to 5 in an office, or I like the flexibility of what I do. I also like interacting with people. I didn't do so much of that, even in Ubering. I mean, you do some contact with people, but then on the other hand, there's a lot of time that you spend by yourself. And actually, the Uber Eats allowed me to have a little bit more interaction with people, because I would go into the restaurant or the place of business. So I had some interaction there. And then I would drop the food off, and I had some interaction there sometimes. But during the pandemic, a lot of it was just leaving it at the door. Nobody wants to see you, given the circumstances. So all during this time, I'm also thinking, well, what other careers would I like to do? And for the longest time, I thought of doing nursing. I thought of going back. I have a legal background. I thought of going back into following up with becoming a lawyer and taking my LSAT. But I kind of, and I've done that work before. And so I'm not really so sure about the legal realm, if that's really where I want to go. And I keep coming to the nursing. And so, but then there's the pandemic. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, do you really want to, it's one thing helping folks, but helping folks at the expense of your own health, I don't know. You really want to do that? Well, I had a friend of mine, a she's not really a friend, she's a family worker, a family friend, a church friend, older woman that befriended me at church. She's one of the mothers of my church. She is now 97. And I would go and see her from time again from before the pandemic. Well, she's now at a point where she actually needs someone with her all the time because she's slowed down a bit. She still cooks, still walks around. She has her walker, but she gets a little unsteady. Um, Very sharp still in her mind. She does all kinds of Zoom meetings and Zoom book studies, and is an avid reader and well respected within her community and her group of friends. Well, she had a family member staying with her, and that family member has since left. And so she asked me to help her. And so for the last 10 weeks, I have been her caregiver. And I work from 11 to 3. I go there and I sit with her. We have breakfast in the morning, and then I do what was called light housework, which is really just plain housework. And then I sit around with her and we just talk and we spend time, and I ask her what is she going to eat for dinner, and it's just been a lovely experience. And so putting it on the table for me is really about looking at, my strengths and my weaknesses. And I've come to realize that being a caregiver is one of my strengths. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Tracey. Thank you. Wow.